Hello everyone, my name's Larry, aka Simi Dad. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a bit of a different video from my usual tracking videos. Today we are going to delve into the realistic fuel consumption settings and see what difference it makes in game. Spoiler alert, the result may surprise you, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video to find out. Before we get into the video, I would be grateful if you could smash the like button, and if you enjoy the video, consider subscribing. And don't forget to let me know in the comments what you think. I hope to produce more videos like this in the future if you find them of use, so do give me your feedback. And if you want to jump straight to the end and to see the results, I'll leave a timestamp in the description for you. So setting up the test, I wanted to get some controls in place so that the test was as fair and consistent as possible. There were some steps that I took to try to ensure each run would be as close to each other so as not to skew the result. I started a new profile with no mods active. I bought a base game truck and a base game trailer. Set the transmission to automatic, thinking this would give the most chance of a similar engine behavior on each run, as there would be no chance of me misshifting or shifting differently had I used my manual H shifter. I tried to ensure each lane change was at a similar point, and I also obeyed all of the rules of the road, including both speed and traffic signals. I did two jobs to do the test, one 50 miles in length and one 147 miles in length. I accepted both jobs and I created two individual save files once I had loaded the cargo to the trailer. The start point was the same each time I did the run. I did both runs twice, once without realistic fuel consumption and once with realistic fuel consumption, and I wrote down at the job completion screen what the fuel consumed and the miles covered were. I also then redid the shorter 50-mile job, but disabled the traffic in the config file to ensure that the difference I was seeing wasn't skewed by each different traffic on each run. Videos you're seeing here in the background are videos of each of the jobs I did, just sped up a little bit. I've also researched actually what the realistic consumption option actually does, so we'll dig into that a little bit before we get into the results. So by default, the realistic fuel consumption option is disabled in the gameplay menu, and when this option is disabled, the game appears, from my experience at least, to calculate fuel consumption solely by distance driven, which suggests to me that probably a fairly fixed fuel consumption value is defined in the game's code. So regardless of your driving style for fuel, your fuel economy is likely to be similar on every load that I haul. When you enable the realistic fuel consumption option, the game seems to calculate the fuel consumed on a constant basis based upon my throttle input and the engine RPM, similar to how it would in real life. So the driver's style then becomes more relevant and the route taken becomes more relevant. For example, if you were driving a particularly hilly route, it would result in a higher amount of fuel consumed versus a completely flat road, or driving with a heavy foot constantly accelerating would burn fuel more quickly. When I activated the realistic fuel consumption setting, I was expecting heavy fuel consumption, but the results demonstrated by this bar chart, which by the way, I haven't done a bar chart since I was in school, so this is new. The first run was a load of sugar from Swansea to Cardiff, and on the run without realistic fuel consumption enabled, we travelled 50 miles, we consumed 41.1 litres of fuel, which equates to an average MPG of 5.53 miles to the gallon. On the run with realistic fuel enabled, we travelled 50 miles and consumed 40.8 litres of fuel, equating to an miles per gallon of 5.57. Our second run was a load of canned beans from Cardiff to Southampton. On the run without realistic fuel consumption enabled, we travelled 147 miles and consumed 117.7 litres of fuel, which is an MPG of 5.68. And on the run with realistic fuel enabled, we travelled 147 miles and consumed 112.5 litres of fuel, equating to an MPG of 5.94. On the third run that I did, where I repeated the Swansea to Cardiff load, having disabled traffic, both loads were 50 miles in length. On the run with realistic fuel turned off, we consumed 41.5 litres of fuel, which equated to an MPG of 5.48. And on the realistic fuel run, we consumed 41 litres of fuel, equating to an MPG of 5.54. So, in conclusion, to my surprise, the better fuel consumption was actually achieved using the realistic fuel consumption option enabled, which surprised me. I thought genuinely that it was going to consume more fuel having that enabled. The average was a 2.13% increase in miles per gallon achieved when using the realistic fuel economy setting. Whilst the increase isn't monumentally huge, it does compound when you're on a longer journey, so you would expect a larger fuel saving on longer trips. And yeah, given that the fuel consumption appears to be better with the option enabled, I don't really understand why there is even an option and SES don't just make that the default option. But who knows, maybe that's something that they'll bring in a future update. So what that means for me, going forward, I will be enabling realistic fuel consumption in all my profiles to make those fuel savings. It's especially useful on my series, the debt-free owner-operator, where I'm using the GDC economy mod, where cash is sparse. But yeah, that's the result. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I said, it's a bit of a different one from my usual format, so do be sure to let me know in the comments what you think. Was it a surprise to you that the realistic fuel consumption actually was better? Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and until next time guys, take care.